West Nile TV. Miyuder Ingomwa. West Nile TV. Miyuder Ingomwa.
To either be led and shepherded by Jesus Christ.
Radio Network. He is also with the West Nile Press Association.
Viewer, and welcome to the Viewpoint on West Nile Television.
On the 19th of December 1993, and was ordained a deep.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Hey, why aren't I up there? My heart, say you love.
I've watched the Sports Club when that song of Mbabazi.
West Nile Television is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Good morning. It is 9 a.m. and Kokoliriko Live is on West Nile TV. Wherever you're watching us from, I want to welcome you to the show. And this day we're having a discussion. A number of issues are playing around us. So we want to connect dots to a number of issues that keep occurring in our community. My name is Opingopi Yusuf Andabati. I'm your host for the day today. And with that in mind, I have a guest with whom I want to discuss especially the plight of teachers. If you can remember, around 2 years ago, the President of the Republic of Uganda had actually promised to give around 20 billion Ugandan shillings to private school teachers. And these private school teachers have been affected by COVID-19 lockdown. They are the most affected of the teachers in this country, especially the private teachers. I'm talking about them. And so this has brought in a lot of things, a lot of issues. But the promise that the president made has not come to fruition. We want to look at the plight of a teacher who has been affected by COVID-19 pandemic, the lockdown. 2 years down the road, what is occurring? What is happening? How is the situation wherever you are? The situation we're going to discuss with the guest I have could be a similar situation with where you are. We'll be able to connect the dots and be able to see how this situation can be arrested going forward. I have Miss Harriet Agasiro. She's a teacher by profession, a private teacher, and I want to discuss the story of this very lady who lost her only source of income due to the COVID-19 situation in the country. Good morning, madam. You're most welcome to West Nile TV.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for hosting me.
Yeah.
First of all, I give glory to God who has brought me up to this far.
Okay. Now, how has the situation been for you? 2 years down the road, you've not been working. You've just been at large. You've never entered the classroom. And how has the situation been for you? And you're a private teacher.
Yes, generally, the situation, it was hard at the beginning. Yeah, when COVID started, I personally am a student at Chambugo University. Yes, I was just doing my second year exam. I was just from doing examinations for year 2.
Okay.
And I'd cleared all the school fees.
When the lockdown started?
Before lockdown.
Okay.
That was in January.
Yes.
Remember, the private schools usually pay when you work. So I'd cleared the school fees. I knew that things are okay. So when we went back to school, that was in Feb and in March, we worked only for 1 month and some few days, then they closed the school. Some few weeks, they closed the schools. Lockdown came in. So at first they said it was for 30 days, 32 days, I remember.
Yes.
Then we hope to go back to school.
After 32 days?
Yes. Then from there, the situation kept on increasing. I mean, they kept on adding until it continued more than the 32 days. So the first month, March ended, April ended, May ended, and with private schools, no salary.
Yes.
June started. Then I started looking down. It said rent was accumulating.
And where were you staying, and where is this private school that you were teaching at?
I was teaching at Bishop's Primary Hangile. Yes,
Okay.
it is located in Luzira.
In Luzira, yes, Kampala.
Yes. So, come again?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at. I did ask you about where you were staying, and probably take us back to where it started from, how the whole thing started.
Yes.
Take us back
Now,
to the day when the first 32 days were imposed.
Yes. After the 32 days, up to May, up to June.
Yeah.
Remember, after that time, our home district, Arua, was locked.
Yes, there was no movement actually. Yes.
There was no movement, so I thought of coming back to the village, but the ways were blocked, so I couldn't come. It was so hard for me to travel from Kampala to Arua, so I had to be inside there. Rent was accumulating. Feeding was becoming a problem. You know, with Kampala, everything you cater for it. Now I looked at myself and I say, what is the future? What if I continue sitting in the house? Where am I going to get food? It was going to become hard for me. That's now when I thought of selling, doing anything that can bring for me.
To have an alternative.
Yes, to bring for me. Even if I say to my heart, even if it is 2,000 or 3,000, I will go for it.
I know of the story where you started selling roasted maize by the roadside.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Take us through it.
Yeah, with the story of the maize, I first started with selling mangoes.
You started with the mangoes.
Yes.
Was this after the first 32 days or the second 32 days?
It was now up to June.
Oh.
Remember, they were stopped from working in March.
In March, yes.
April, May, June.
Yes.
Then July, that's when I started now selling. I started doing these petty things. Roasting meat, selling katogo, you know.
Yes.
Okay, you cook it with
the gonja or
with the bienda.
Yes.
Waffles. I could make them, I mix them, I sell, but
by the roadside.
Yes, but then people were not willing to buy.
Because everyone was also in lockdown.
Yes, people were not buying. Then I had to look around and see what else can I do. If this one is not moving, I should do something else. That's when I started selling mangoes.
Mangoes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then by that time, the buses were not yet opened, but they were using lorry. So I could sell mangoes from Arua. I pick them from Arua Park. I go and sell them.
Were you selling also within Arua Park or now down in Luzira?
Down in Luzira, because I never had a space in Arua Park.
Yes.
Because there, if you don't have a space, you have to pay. I was not able to do that. So I sold mangoes, and then reaching July, the end of July, mango season was over. I was not having, now I looked at myself and said, at least with mangoes, I was making some 4,000, 5,000, which could feed me.
Which was much more than the previous one you were doing, the bienda.
The bienda, because that one I could make losses.
You ended up eating it yourself?
Yes, I could cook, and then the whole saucepan, you sell half of it. I could sell like 9,000, 7,000. Sometimes when I've spent like 13, 11,000, then I decided to quit that one. So then when I started selling mangoes, at least I could be able to get transport, take me back to bring another mango. And then have something for the food. Because I was now looking for day-to-day, daily, whatever.
What about the rent? Was this able to allow you pay rent?
Yes, at least I paid some, not all, by that time. At least I could keep some 3,000 at the end of the month. At least I have some 50, 80, and then I give to the landlord. Then I say, you first get this, when I get, then whatever. Yes, so, yeah, I continued like that. the mango season also ended.
You said you were getting mangoes from Arua,
yes.
Probably even from Yumbe through Arua to these other places. How were you making this connection? Because people were not allowed to travel. It was only around that time, it was the truck drivers, yes. And plus one person on board. So how were you doing this process?
No, I just had I just interacted with some of those truck drivers. They're like, if you give us money, we can buy for you from Arua town, we put for you and then you get from the other side. And that's how I was doing it.
How long would this take?
It took me like 2 to 3 weeks.
I mean, like to get one, if you bought mangoes from Arua, how long would it take for you to receive it in Kampala? Sometimes 1 day, sometimes 2 days. Okay. Even sometimes 3. Sometimes the lorry can get spoiled along the road and then you have to wait. So I could take like 2. Sometimes I get when the mango is already ripe. Those are some challenges I had. So when the mangoes got over again, I started saying also life was becoming again hard. You also ran out of business. Yes, because do you remember that was during the time when COVID was there, people wanted fruits and the fruits were moving. Then when mangoes got over, I now started saying, what else can I do? Start trying selling tomatoes, onions, they were not moving, we were not buying them. Then that's when I thought of start selling maize. I brought maize on board. From where were you buying these maize? I was buying them from Nakasero. That is in Kampala town. I now started buying maize. I started roasting. Then, how I came to appear in BBC, it was when I was selling along the street. By the way, by the time I started selling my mangoes, people used to bypass me, could laugh at me. They're saying like, people who even knew you as a teacher. Yes, that how can a teacher go in the street and sell mangoes? How did that make you feel? I felt, at first I felt I was offended. It pained me. But then I looked at it, I said, where can I cannot go and sell myself in the street, despite me being a teacher. If what I'm doing can get me something, it's better than borrowing, begging every day, because someone can give you today and then tomorrow another person, the person will not give again. But I kept the courage in me. I wasn't discouraged. I said, let them say whatever they want to say, because even those ladies I used to sell with, no, they were not people who were educated. They were laughing at me. Those kind of things would happen. And these are people who knew you as a teacher. Yes, and then the kind of despising that kind of thing. But I said, as long as I'm not stealing, and I'm not begging, I will do it. So I continued doing it, selling the mangoes. Now, at the time how I get to connected, BBC, how they came to know about me, they were looking for stories to capture and see how private sector has been affected. Yes. Then one of the children that I teach in my class were moving with a journalist who was looking for teachers. Then the child is like, Mommy, you see Teacher Harriet is there, he's selling. Then this child came to me running. And I said, Teacher Harriet, I received the child as my own because I'd already taught her, I knew her. From classroom? Yes, from my classroom. Then the lady came to me and said, she was called Patricia. She's like, Teacher Harriet, I'm looking for stories to show the world how teachers have been affected by this COVID. Are you willing to share your story with us? And then I'm like, yes, I can give my story. I have no problem with it. So she asked me my contact. I gave her my contact. She took, response was not also all that positive. So she resorted to come and interview you from the street. Yes, according to the response I'd already got, I told her, I would not like, because I remember head teacher himself called me and said, don't go for that interview. Yes, don't go for that interview. He even sent for me the deputy head teacher, to tell me not to go for the interview. And yet there was a situation that needed to be exposed. Yes, so for them it was something embarrassing. The lady came up to
headmistress deputy came up to me. I was there selling my things. But he did don't go for the interview. I'm like, no, I'm not going to mention the name of the school. If you have people, your fear is to expose the school because you feel I'm going to shame your school. I'm not going to mention the school. Then the lady from the BBC had already known that, these people are not...
There was a situation.
They are not okay with my interview. Then I told her, you take my story, don't mention the name of school for the sake of my job, because I'm like, after COVID, we shall go back to the school. So there was nothing like that interview I had with BBC. There was nothing like mentioning the school.
So nobody knows the school.
Yes, nobody knew where with the school.
So it's only us now that have known the school.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that was where I never mentioned the name of school. That first interview. So the first street I was selling, it was along the Rosera line. Yes, maize was not moving well when I started. So I thought... And
this was the same street where you were selling mangoes and other...
Yes, mangoes. Yes, for mangoes it was moving. But when it reached other things, people were not buying. So I thought of going to town. I sighted another place. Then I started roasting maize there. The first day I went to roast maize there, that was the day this lady called me, teacher Harriet. We are coming to interview you. Are you ready? Then I told her, I'm not in the other street where you first sighted me, but I'm here along the interview road. Then within 30 minutes, these people arrived. Then they started interviewing me, asking my story, how it all started. And that time I was narrating the pain I was going